So, today we're going to take a word you probably use all the time, a word that seems incredibly simple, and we're going to break it down to show you the beautiful complexity that's hiding in plain sight. And that word is balance. Truly understanding a word like this is the foundation for grasping much, much bigger ideas.
Just take a second and think about it. Seriously, how many different meanings just popped into your head? You might be thinking of a tightrope walker, maybe your bank account, or even this abstract idea of fairness. Well, it turns out this one little word is doing a ton of work in the English language, and that's exactly what makes it so fascinating to dig into.
Okay, let's be real. Language can get confusing fast. Words can have multiple meanings, they can act as different parts of speech, it can be a lot to handle. But what if we had a tool that was designed specifically to cut through all that noise? Well, that's what we're looking at today.
For this, we're pulling all of our information from the Simple English Wiktionary. Now, its goal isn't to oversimplify things. It's to build understanding right from the ground up, using the most common words. It's a fantastic way to see the real architecture of a word without getting lost in the weeds.
All right, let's start with the first way we use balance, as a noun. So this means we're talking about balance as a thing, a state of being, or a concept that you can have or that you can lose. The core idea here, the really big one, is equality. And notice that it's uncountable. It's not something you can count. You don't have three balances. You just have a state of balance. It's a condition, an equilibrium. And this is a brilliant way to illustrate the abstract side of that definition. We're obviously not talking about physical weight here. We're talking about the conceptual weight of ideas. The plan works because it doesn't lean too heavily one way or the other. It's found that sweet spot. And here is the other side of that exact same coin, the physical meaning. It's the same definition, a state of equal amounts all around, but this time it's all about the distribution of her physical weight. She lost that equilibrium and, well, gravity did the rest. Now, this is where things get really interesting because the context completely shifts. The word is the same, but the meaning becomes super specific. In the world of finance, your balance is simply the amount of money in an account. It's a very common, but also very specialized use of the word. And finally, for our noun definitions, balance can be a literal physical object. Think of the classic scales of justice. This is a countable noun. You could have one balance or several balances in a science lab. It's a tool that's used to find balance. Kind of neat how that works, right? So we've seen what balance is, a state, an amount of money, a physical object, but that's only half the story. Now let's explore what balance does. Okay, so now we're looking at balance as a verb, an action word. This is the part where we're actively doing something to create that state of equilibrium we were just talking about. See how this definition connects directly back to our very first noun definition? It's perfect. To balance something is the action of creating that state of balance. It's the process, it's the how. This is a perfect, clear-cut example. It's so visual. The bird is the actor here. And what is it doing? It's actively adjusting its weight and its position to achieve that state of physical stability on this tiny little wire. That is balance in action. And just like we saw with the noun, here's the abstract version of the verb. A manager isn't physically holding costs in one hand and benefits in the other. No, they're weighing them mentally, trying to create an equilibrium where the business can thrive. It's a cognitive action. Okay, so we've deconstructed one single word, but the real power of looking at things this way is how it lets you build this whole web of understanding. Knowing the core of balance helps you instantly understand a whole network of related words. So let's consider the synonyms for the noun balance. When you think of it as a state of rest or stability, it just reinforces that core idea of a calm, steady equilibrium. These related words, they add texture and depth to the definition. And look at this list for the verb. This is awesome. When you balance ideas, you aren't just holding them, you are actively considering, comparing, assessing, and evaluating them. These synonyms reveal the really complex mental process behind the simple action of balancing. This approach also gives us the key to opposites. Once you understand that balance is a state of equality, the word imbalance instantly makes sense. The prefix im just means not, so it's simply a lack of equality. You understand one, and you basically get the other one for free. So what's the big takeaway here?
Ultimately, the point of all this isn't about making things easy or dumbing them down. Not at all. It's about making them solid. By understanding the fundamental building blocks of a word like balance, you build a much stronger foundation for way more complex ideas down the road.
And that leaves us with a final thought. We just took a simple everyday word and found all this hidden complexity. But this same exact approach works for much bigger ideas. So, what's a complex topic that you've always struggled with? What's something out there you think could benefit from being broken down to its most essential parts?